We're talking with Chuck Biehn, president of American Cutting Edge. Chuck is a member of Chief Executive Boards International. Chuck, you've been a member for quite some time, is that right?
That's right, probably about 8 years.
Wow, what is it that keeps you coming back?
Well, I really get a lot out of talking with the other CEOs and business owners here, get some great ideas and advice on problems and issues we have.
And how do you find that different from advice and counsel that you get from other sources?
Well, you know, a lot of times in the business world, you're talking to accountants or lawyers or people that are on your staff. And sometimes these folks all have ulterior motives or different agendas, or they're trying to protect what interests they may have in the relationship, versus these folks are all my peers. They don't have any agenda per se. I get straight talk advice, sharing of their experiences and so on. And it's sometimes a little no holds barred that hey, look, this is what we think, and I appreciate that frankness. I don't find that in some other places I've sought advice from.
So you find they'll really be honest with you.
Very honest, and that's what's great. And too often, people that are at the top of the company pyramid, we have no place to turn. There's no one. We're not often getting direct management or coaching or performance reviews or anything like that. And this is an area where you can go and lay your strategies out and get them maybe picked apart at times even by other members and get some good advice.
This takes some time. I know you rarely miss a meeting. You make 4 meetings a year in the Cincinnati area, and
right.
Almost always make our 2-day summits twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
You find that time investment worth it?
I certainly do. I mean, it only takes the local meetings are only about a half a day, 3/4 of a day or so on. And it's a nice break from the daily routine where I can go and there's usually some issues that I feel the need to bring up. Also, I enjoy talking to other members when I have a chance to share my experience and ideas with them. It's fun to give back as well. And interesting that somebody might bring up an idea or a problem they're having, and it spurs me on to thinking differently about things going on in my own company. As far as the national summit meetings, I really enjoy them. It's a little bit more intensive. The quality of the people that come here is maybe a notch higher than some of the folks who are interested in the local boards only. And there's some great times I walk away more so from the summits with better ideas than ever. And I also like to have a few days away from the office to reflect on what I'm learning, what I'm talking about. I really enjoy it.
I have people tell me on occasion they don't think they can afford the time away from the business. If one of those people was talking with us right now, what would you say about that?
Well, to go back to the words of the founder of CEBI, Ron Wiley, I mean, you have to work on your business, not in your business. And the question a lot of CEOs and presidents and owners have to ask, are they going to act like owners, or are they going to act like people that are self-employed? I try to look at the business as and step backwards and take time to think about it almost as if it was someone else's business at times. And when you're in the daily routine and the daily challenges that we all have over and over again, it's hard to, it's more like seeing the trees and not being able to see the whole forest. So the time is, I mean, we're talking just a few days a year out of a lot of us CEOs work a lot more than 250 days a year. So it's not really that much of a time investment percentage-wise at all.
You mentioned the idea of a self-employed person versus a business owner. That idea comes from the cash flow quadrant book out of the Rich Dad Poor Dad series.
Right.
I'm thinking that you may have gotten acquainted with a lot of different ideas, different books, different sources of knowledge through chief executive boards that you might not bump into other places.
No, that's very true. There's several. I've had several books I've read that were recommended to me by other CEBI members. I've heard them, they'll make a quote or something. And I'm not a huge business book reader either. I tend to go more for business magazines. But it's great when you hear that somebody's saying, hey, this particular book really changed my way of looking at business. And you hear some ideas quoted. Sometimes you don't have to read the whole book, but it's if you have a member who's talked to you and brought up an idea. And just like you were mentioning about the one comment I just made, there's very little that we learn on our own. It's usually something we've heard or an idea we've taken from somebody else and modified it for our own use. And these ideas just get passed along from in CEBI from member to member, and I don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time. A lot of people have been through the same things I've been through, and I can gain from their experience and their ideas.
Could you give us just kind of a summary of how your business is different or better, you believe, as a result of your Chief Executive Board's experience?
Well, I've done a lot better at thinking about strategic ideas than I did in the past, where it seemed like I was mostly getting involved with tactical issues and so on. One thing for me personally is I'm very entrepreneurial, so anytime I see any opportunity that comes up business-wise, I'm jumping into this and jumping into that and really spread myself thin. And it's fun to have some, and valuable to have some CEOs that I respect who've come to me and said, hey, you need to let some of these opportunities fall by the wayside. You can't jump into everything that goes. And that's been kind of refreshing lately is I'll get presented with some ideas or some opportunities, and not saying I don't look at them and so on, but I'm much more critical today and say, gee, is this something we really want to get into? Is this something I want to invest my time and money into? So one thing that's really helped me is from being in these meetings is learning to stick to my knitting a little bit more and make those businesses more profitable rather than jumping into every new opportunity.
Excellent. We've been talking with Chuck Biehn of American Cutting Edge. Thank you for your time today, Chuck.
Thank you.